We're live.
Hey,
welcome along, everyone.
Everybody.
I do apologise. You're not going to get anything as professional as normal. So, yeah, just a warning. But welcome along. We've got less than a day, less than 12 hours, isn't it? The deadline's changed.
Oh god,
Yep.
it seems so close.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 14 hours, I think, to go. And then it's all done. All our hard work, all our content creation, it's done. And let's be honest, most of it will be wasted because we'll end up being ranked like 2 million. So,
What should be done? I'm going to be doing 38 game weeks of content.
Oh.
What do you mean
Yeah.
done?
I haven't done it. I haven't done it in so long. I just thought we just stopped after this. Been like, well, it's done now. Just wait another year until the next pre-season. But welcome along, everyone. Hope you're doing very well. We've only got 3 people today because, unfortunately, FPL TV was too tired, so couldn't join us.
I thought we was going to make up some excuse.
Yeah,
Just
some
go,
really
He's
great.
too tired.
Yeah,
Well,
just full on out
To be
there.
fair, this was last minute.
Yes,
Yes.
it was very last minute. I probably bullied people into doing it anyway, so I do apologise. But I never do anything on this channel, so it's nice for me to step in. But we've got the FPL Queen, Miss Nymphria.
Hello,
We've got the
everybody.
FPL King, Mr. FPL Today, and then we've got their Jester right here. We're here to.
I
We've got
don't know,
literally.
recently I might be the jester, to be fair.
We've got literally nothing. No prepared questions. No nothing. We're going to treat this as a therapy session to try and get through and get our team sorted for game week 1 and help you guys as well.
Yes,
But
we are.
before I pass
Literally.
on to everyone else, I say to
Lying in the
everyone
seat of our
else,
pants.
to the other 2 people. Oh, I'm meant to be looking that way. Sorry, the other 2 people looking the wrong way. I've always thought we need to get likes up, and normally it's just get my shirt out off, something like that. So I thought, no, we're going to change that. For every 12 likes we get on this video, I'm going to take a shot of Sambuca.
Oh,
So get your likes in, and the more Sambuca I have, the
Is
more
it
honest
not
I
11
get.
already? Literally one drop.
There we
one
go.
like and you've got to
I've
do
already
it.
been on Sex on the Beach. This is my second cup. Third. Second or third.
Most professional FPL stream out there, by the way,
Yes.
just for the record.
If you like a lot of fun and a lot of entertainment, then we're the stream to be at. That's for sure.
But yeah, so rather than me rambling for too much longer, I'll pass on to Miss Nymphria because she's better at this than me. So welcome along. Oh, wrong way again, damn it. Welcome along. Hope you're doing very well.
To be
How
honest,
are
the
you
chat
feeling?
like your energy. The chat like your energy. So
Loving
you've
the
done
energy.
well.
Yeah. What can
Well.
I say? I mean, I can have a kip now. You can do the intros from now on.
I'll do that happily. I love this sort of stuff. But yes, I'll pass over to
Do you do
Nim.
the tech as well?
Oh no.
No,
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 don't you try and get out of a job, mister.
Damn it.
Don't you try. But no, before I start rambling anymore, welcome Nim. Hopefully you're doing very well. How bad is it looking?
Yeah. Well, today was meant to be my my Tinker with my team day. Tinker with my team Friday. And
That sounds like fun.
it does.
Tinker with my team Friday. Let's
Tinker with
go.
my team, let's go. And yeah, I don't think I've looked at my team once yet today. So I'm starting to get very nervous. I have literally been way too busy. So anyone who wants to see the team that I have now currently, this will be the same for Jay as well and Brett. And I'm sure Kurt will show you on Twitter or something if he hasn't got it on his site. We do have on each of our own channels our GameWeek 1 team, so you can go and check that out there. By the way, I'm like 12 away from 4K subscribers, so you know, if you want to help me out there to reach the 4K before the deadline, that'd be
If
great.
you're watching this channel and you've not subscribed to Nim,
Yes.
just get out. Carry on.
Oh, thanks, buddy. But yes, I am. That my team is there. I'm feeling nervous because I am now starting to feel like I want to go back to a 3-5-2 formation again, where I did move to a 3-4-3, and the reason for that is at the moment I have 1 million in the bank with my 3-4-3. And I'll just quickly read out to people who I have, so you guys know. So I have McCarthy, Trent, Walker Peters, Justin, Alba, Salah, St. Maximum's Son, Werner, Mitrovic, Adams, and then Saka first on my bench. I am a little bit concerned because that leaves me 1 million in the bank, but it doesn't allow me enough to get up to Bruno, for instance. And it doesn't allow me enough in the bank to get up to basically to anybody else higher than Son, so a KDB. And yeah, I'm just really struggling because it doesn't allow me to get to Martial either. So although it's 1 million in the bank, it doesn't really help me much unless I'm moving to a Havertz or a Pulisic or a Greenwood or a Rashford, basically, and it's the only way, you know, it'll help out. So I'm feeling a little bit like it doesn't really give me a lot of wiggle room, and that's where I'm feeling a little bit nervous, and will probably change tact again tomorrow. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm feeling a bit kind of not settled. Jay put it perfectly actually just before we came on air, and I'm sure he'll be saying the same, is that I feel fairly set on a lot of the players in my team. I just am not set overall yet. There's like 3-4 players that I'm still kind of making my mind up over. So that's it, buddy. What about you, Jay? How are you looking? I know I pretty much just said what you were going to say, but
Yeah, cheers for that. Thanks. I mean, chat.
But you summed me up perfectly, to be fair.
Chat, has Kurt done the first shot?
Yeah, I did it.
I missed it.
Oh, you need to.
I didn't want to stop Nim. Nim was in a good role, so I thought I did signal, and then did it.
I saw you point at one point.
No, I did that. I pointed down at you because Nim was talking about you, but I definitely did it. Can the chat confirm? Because otherwise, I'll go back and watch it myself to confirm. Put it on Twitter. Because I definitely did it.
Well, I'll take your word for it. I trust you, mate. I trust you.
We're only 3 away from the second one, anyway. So
I know we're getting close. So for my team, again, seeing as Nim took my words out of my mouth already. There's a lot of players I'm set on. Alexander-Arnold, Aubameyang, Salah, Son. And I know I was on Elite FPL and I said I was thinking of going without Salah, but I think for the first game week, it just doesn't make sense not to have him. So I am going with Salah. And Werner are probably all going to be in my starting 11 for definite. But it's then the rest of the team around them. Like, I don't like the fact that all of my defenders are 4.5 or cheaper. I don't particularly
that
like...
doesn't really bother me, actually.
I would just like one kind of nailed on 5 million player, just that I wouldn't have to consider rotating. Right now, I've got to pick between 3 defenders to rotate. So I'm not too fond of that, but I want to pick defenders I won't have to change out of my side because I've got plans for transfers already. So the last thing I need is to pick a defender and have to transfer him out. So at the moment...
Ooh, look at him. Plans for transfers already. So organised.
So I've got Taylor, Mitchell, Lascelles and Walker-Peters. The problem with Walker-Peters is I've also got McCarthy, so that's a double
yeah,
up. Which,
same.
But Walker-Peters just feels, to me at least, and I know some people have mentioned Valerie, but I feel like Walker-Peters is going to start. So that's why he's there at the moment. I can't really go Ryan over McCarthy because I just don't like the fixtures to begin with for Ryan. So he's in. If Martinez had made the move early enough, because it sounds like he might make the move to Aston Villa.
There's some talk that he might be going to Brighton now.
I'd prefer him to Brighton, to be fair.
I mean, if he goes to Brighton, I will get him in my team.
Is this
Yes.
Arsenal's
4.5.
Martinez?
Yes, Arsenal's Martinez.
But
If
I really would rather we didn't sell him. Like, I could
He
go off
just
on a
did
bit of a
so
rant
well.
here about this.
Would you
Like,
not loan
literally.
him out to a Premier League club?
Well, exactly. Surely
Why?
loaning him out would make more sense.
Exactly. Like, why? And to be honest, he's much better than Leno anyway. We shouldn't be selling the guy. He should be our first keeper.
Then-
like, what are we doing?
Then
Like,
again, you look at the way
don't
West
even get
Ham...
me
Twitter
started
later.
on this.
You look at the way that West Ham have dealt with the whole Basuma thing. Anything's possible. You're a good young player, proved himself quite a few times in the Premier League in different occasions, and then they just sell him.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal do the same thing. He's not at that level yet, so just get rid of him. Try the next one.
But why? Why are we selling
He is
someone
at
like
that level. He
Martinez
did-
when we still have Ozil on our books? I mean, why?
Martinez did really well when he came in. Like,
Yes.
I just don't get it. But
I don't get it either. As an Arsenal fan, I do not get it, and I'm
as
not
an
happy
FPL
with that.
player, it really interests me where he
Yes.
goes.
Mhm.
So definitely keep an eye on that. But again, I was tempted earlier to put Martinez in and Nyland, but then he could go somewhere else, which would then completely ruin my plan to just go Aston Villa keeper. But midfield, I've got St. Maximin and Souček at the moment, and I know Souček might not play, but he was always going to be a bench player, and I just like him as a bench player, even if he has got tough fixtures.
Yeah,
St.
no,
Maximin.
I'm with you there. I wasn't sure when we heard he wasn't going to start, but now that we know that he likely will, he's possibly in my thinking, because that would free up that 0.5 that I need to get a Bruno in for Son.
Yeah.
But it means selling Saka. I don't know what to sell Saka.
Well, see, I've got St. Maximin in that spot, but in a draft literally 20 minutes before this stream, I did have Saka because I like the double up on those first 2 fixtures.
Me too.
And I just can't. If I was Arteta, I couldn't drop Saka, especially with Willian only just joining. I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be really harsh to just drop him and play Pepe, Willian, and Aubameyang, and
Yeah.
maybe Nketiah. It doesn't make sense to me to not play Saka. And I wish he'd come out in a press conference and just said, like, Willian won't start. Because then I'll probably
Even
be like,
if
okay,
Willian
cool.
starts, I don't see why Saka wouldn't start. I mean, yes, we've got Pepe, but
I'd start Saka over
it's
Pepe
just
at the moment.
Saka can play in so many positions. I think that Pepe will, I don't know. I just think he will fit him in somehow because the kid's just too good. He is too good to drop. He is, like I was saying this to Graham earlier, Fancy Football Focus. I know he's devastated about Martinez. Sorry, brother. On my stream earlier, but Martinez, Aubameyang, and Saka were our 3 top players the end of last season, without doubt. And yeah, I just don't see how, like, we're selling Martinez To drop Saka would be an absolute travesty on my eyes. Would be awful. Kurt, how are you looking, buddy?
I haven't finished.
Sorry. Go on. Finish.
Sorry, I'll quickly finish that.
Finish.
Ings is a big point of contention because if I drop Ings to someone cheaper, then I have money to make moves. So Brewster's there, but I'm just hoping Brewster makes a move. I don't plan on ever putting in my starting 11.
So before I do move on to Kurt, just a question on Brewster. There's a little conversation earlier as well that cropped up, is that a lot of people are starting to move away from Brewster and Davis now as their 4.5 option in case nothing happens with them in game week 1 and then loads of people flood off and he drops in price. Have you been worried about that at all as 4.5 option? I know there's a fair few people putting McCarthy in their teams, for instance, because when I say a fair few, I mean he's still only owned by 2.1%, but for that exact reason that he's unlikely to drop should, anything happen.
I think I've got way more serious problems to think about. At 6.2, I'm not too worried. I don't think anyone's picking Brewster thinking I'm playing him game week 1. So next game week, I'm assuming most people will bring in Man United players. Bruno Fernandes, Martial.
Kurt was. That's it. Kurt was going Brewster captain game week 1.
I'm much more worried if Werner doesn't start well. Because if Werner looks really bad and plays too far out left, I'm worried there could be Marcels and Werner. And I think he's much more likely to drop in price. Because
I know where I'd be going. And that's to Aguero.
I really hope Aguero's overlooked, if I'm honest. I'm hoping he's going to be overlooked.
I could just see me getting to game week 3 and not being able to cope with that and just using a wild card just to get him in my team.
Because to be honest, I've got penciled in Man City as captaincy option for game week 3, game week 6, then 10, 11, 13 and 15. So if Aguero's overlooked, I think he'll be a massive captaincy call. So I'm hoping people don't look at him. But yeah, that's my team. And I better get back in the chat and get more of these questions.
I'll ask him the next time we play some games together and see if he's worth captaining. If anyone's seen my Twitter page. Okay, Kurt, how are you looking, buddy? What was your next milestone for your next shot?
We're 1 like away. Every 12 likes, people, I do a shot of Sambuca. And I
can see 24.
I can see 24.
I can see 23. I'll tell you what, I'll like it myself and I'll get to 24 and I'll do it. I can now see 25.
What do you mean you don't like it?
Well, I didn't want to like it to push myself up. I thought I'd like it when we were 30 or something, so it doesn't really add up too much. But yeah, FPL wise, I was nervous, but I streamed a bit earlier on my own channel and I've decided now. Are either of you two going with a game week 1 wildcard? Or game week 2 wildcard?
I was going to say, not a game week 1 wildcard. That seems a bit of a waste.
Literally, game week 2, using your wildcard for it, or?
I am trying not to. I won't say I won't.
Because I wasn't going to, because I thought, you could use the wildcard, but I always get to Christmas and think, flipping heck, I haven't used my wildcard yet, and I end up just wasting it on 3 transfers that I didn't really need to do, but I felt forced into doing it because I haven't used my wildcard. So I've gone full in wildcard after game week 1, because the deadline. When's the deadline?
11 o'clock tomorrow.
11 o'clock. So I've got an hour before I have to leave for cricket, and my plan is I'm going heavy and I'm going hard on game week 1 wildcard. Everyone out. Man United and Man City players in. Use the price rises. Elevate the team value up, and then go back onto players like Aubameyang after that. Because Aubameyang will probably leave my team just for the pure thing of price rises, and it's something I never normally take much notice of. But I'm trying to adapt to the way I play the game, and
a new groove.
Yeah, exactly.
The
so in terms of my team, bearing in mind obviously this is just for game week 1, a lot of these players will leave. McCarthy in goal, a back 3, Trent, Justin, Walker-Peters, 5 in the midfield, because I think that's the way to go this season. Willian, Son, Salah, vice-captain, Aubameyang, captain, and St. Maximum. And then up front, I've got Werner and I've got Wilson. with a bench, I've got 2 4 million defenders on Johnson and Mitchell, just in hope that they play if needs be. But yeah, I think Newcastle against West Ham, they're gonna. It may not be a win for Newcastle, but they're gonna score. And I think Calum Wilson, being ex-Bournemouth, love to terrorise West Ham, so he could be an option. I echo the worries of Timo Werner. He's in there at the moment, and I think Brighton away could be a goal fest for him. But at the same time, Brighton are the sort of team that can just sit in a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 and just sit behind the ball. And then players like Werner, similar to Vardy, that love to get in behind, love to get teams on the counter-attack, have really good pace. The main attribute, well, not the main attribute, but an attribute they use a lot to beat players is their pace. All of a sudden becomes irrelevant because they're sitting on the 18-yard line saying, go on, you can't go in behind us because there's not enough room. If you dink the ball over, our keeper's come in to claim it. Which leads me to think maybe someone like a Pulisic, a Ziyech, and Ziyech's injured, isn't he? Kai Havertz could be a potential because they're the players that will be getting the ball about 25, 30 yards out, maybe 20 yards out. Will be getting the ball outside of the back line, potentially. But that's me overthinking things. Obviously, the Arsenal debate is a big one. It's tempting to go for Saka because I think Saka there's a potential Saka could start, and that would then free up funds to go bigger elsewhere. Maybe upgrade St Maximum, or maybe get another decent defender in. Maybe get Robbo in, something like that. But I just think Willian joined really early in the window, so they had a lot of time to train with them. Where players like James Rodriguez really interest me because of the fact the Ancelotti link, and I think he's cheaply priced for what you're going to get. Everton's defence is still shocking, but going forward they look a lot better. He hasn't had enough time to train with the team, to get to know the system, so he could struggle in the first few weeks. Whereas if you look at Willian, he's had a lot of time under Arteta and Arsenal, and I think that would have at least. I mean, did he start in the Charity Shield? Who started in the attacking lineup in the Charity Shield for Arsenal?
Saka did start.
Saka, yeah. Nketiah.
So that maybe goes. Yeah, that adds to the fire. Whether you risk Saka or you go with Willian. Either way, I think Willian's still coming off the bench for 30 minutes against Fulham.
Willian wasn't with us then, so he didn't start.
Was he not?
No, I don't think so. He definitely didn't
Charity
start.
Shield.
Yeah.
I thought he signed quite early on, like quite shortly after the season, because his contract ran out, and he. No, I may be wrong, but yeah, that sort of adds to.
We haven't seen him on the pitch yet at all. I don't think with Arsenal.
No, he didn't play. Then. I know he didn't play.
No.
And my opinion is he will of course play at some point, but I don't think he's ready for the start of the season.
Interesting then. So I have to have a look at that because I think even if Willian comes off the bench for half an hour, 20 minutes, there's still potential. If he comes on the pitch, you assume he's going to take over set plays, so free kicks, corners. There's all the chance in the world they could concede from them. Yeah, that puts a bit of a question mark in for Willian. But apart from that, I'm confident. I think Aubameyang could tear Fulham apart. I think Salah always starts the season strongly. He loves a game week 1 haul, and I think that could happen again. Heung-min Son, I think, will be fit and raring to go. I've watched a lot of the... not that it matters or anything. I've watched a lot of the Amazon Prime thing about Spurs. I don't know what it's called. The documentary series they did on City. Then they did one on Spurs. I think just
I'm hearing a lot
attitudes,
of good things from Ali about that. I haven't watched it myself, but a load of people are saying that Ali looks really good in it.
It's just... when you see him on the pitch, you don't really see the full picture. But watching something like that, you see the behind the scenes and you see the attitude that goes into it. And you see Mourinho in a really different light. I think there's still obviously some stigmas that are right about him. There's definitely some stigmas that are wrong about him. But then you see players like Son and Dele Alli, and they've got a certain persona on the pitch or a certain reputation on the pitch. But I think Son comes across as just someone that wants to get out there and play. Yeah. If you tell him, he's a bit injured, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to try and play. I think someone like that, at home to Everton, I don't think Everton will get a clean sheet against Everton, but I think Everton not improving their defence much, if at all, they could absolutely tear them apart. And so a player like Son is going to be so tricky and fired up and ready to go. Yeah, in terms of that, my team is pretty ready. The only question mark is obviously Willian, and I'm still not sure on him. But then I'm thinking, who else do I go for that price point? So for now, I don't really know. I'm really up in the air. But for most of it, yeah. The other 10 players I'm set on. It's just that Willian that I'm not too sure on.
Would you go lower, or would you look at like a Barnes or?
I wouldn't want to go too much lower because obviously I've got St Maximin at 5.5.
Pereira.
I do like Pereira. I think he looks a good player, but
okay. I just interject quickly. Brian Yule says Willian was still on holiday because after Chelsea finished season late, so that might be why he was joining the Arsenal late. So probably might not be ready. Hence why he wouldn't have been in the Charity Shield.
Yeah,
okay, so yeah. Apart from that, though, I'm pretty set. I mean, there is obviously options cheaper, more expensive. If I go cheaper, there's obviously a potential that if I go someone around sort of St Maximum's price point, I could potentially go Trent and Robbo. And if they get a clean sheet and get some attacking returns, it's a masterstroke. But obviously, it's a risk because if they don't get a clean sheet, they don't get attacking returns. You're spending 15 million, 14.5 million on players that have got you 2 points apiece. But it's all part and parcel. I've really missed the fun. I think that's why I pushed for a stream tonight, because all of a sudden it sort of kicks in. You think, oh, it makes you nervous. You're worried.
Start second guessing everything.
Yeah, second guessing everything. You decide. You could literally spend 3 hours deciding on one position in the FPL team, yet something outside of life, you'd spend 3 seconds on being like, that'll do.
That'll do.
It's mental. I've never seen anything like it, and that's the fun of FPL, and I'm glad it's back. And now I can relax and know that I've made every mistake in the book, and it's worth nothing because I'm not going to win. So,
well, Kurt, just remember, you beat all of us last season. You will always have
Brian
that.
mentioned that to me earlier, and I thought, you know
will
what?
Always have that.
We're going for it again. I'm just gonna. I think I'm not only gonna win. I think I'm gonna obliterate. My win is going to be that bad upon everyone else that it's going to split the Wildcats up. That's what I'm predicting.
I don't think it caused any issues last season.
Yeah, because I won by a decent margin, but nothing
like
bad.
10 points.
It's basically going to get to the end of the season thinking, all of you guys on all your videos, all your fancy graphics, all your loads of talk shows and all your live streams, I've come here, got drunk half the time, not really paid attention, always got in trouble for stroking people's faces on streams, doing shots of Sambuca for likes, and I still finished above everyone else. So that's why it's going to cause a rift. Anyway.
You are the annoying person that like literally turns up 5 minutes before their exam and gets an A star, aren't you?
Yep. No revision. No, nothing. But I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time since we've had something like this, and even as much as it is sort of like, oh yeah, FPL's back. It had been back. It's been back. You know, or we've had the pre-season, or we had it post-COVID. Wasn't the same. So I'm glad it's back. I'm glad FPL's back. I'm glad to be back with you guys.
I hated the restart. There was just too much football too quick, which meant I couldn't do the. Like it was a struggle for me to do the eye test.
Anyway. Here's to FPL.
Cool. Cheers. Can we have some questions then, Jay, from the chat, please?
Okay, so we had a lot of questions about one side in particular. So I'm going to kind of bunch three together. No, believe it or not. So Fantasy Focus and Vrajasaur, hopefully I've said that right. And other people have discussed it in the chat, have been speaking about Everton. So we've got thoughts on Richarlison, and we also have, where do you think James Rodriguez will play, and is he worth it at his price? And just generally, what do we think of their options as an attacking force? I think there was also questions about Iwobi and Theo Walcott and if they would feature. So I don't mind starting if you guys don't seem ready for that question, because it's not.
All yours.
I'll be honest, I've not considered Everton yet because I want to wait and see. I'm very interested in how this is.
Sorry, carry on.
Elite FPL in the house. Hey guys.
Oh, okay. Thanks for joining. Me and Nim have both been on the Elite FPL stream.
Yeah, cheers for the invite.
Kurt's turn next.
Jesus. I'm the coolest one here. I don't even get an invite. Bloody
Really
hell, the
not.
disrespect.
Really not.
could not imagine a stream of you and Steve-O. Just think, I don't know
It's
where
probably
that would go.
it's probably for the best. It would go straight into the demonetised ban from YouTube, I reckon. It would just spiral out of control after a few minutes. But yeah, thanks for the invite though.
Anyway, back to FPL and Everton.
Everton.
I mean, I have very fond memories of James Rodriguez, so I'm probably going to look at this with tinted rose glasses because I just feel like he did so well for me in the World Cup 2014.
Behave yourself, mister.
That was when he scored the volley, wasn't it?
Yeah, the volley.
Yeah,
but he just
the
had
golden age of James Rodriguez.
It was the first time I'd ever won a mini league. Was the World Cup 2014, and it's kind of what led me down this path of FPL. So I'm very interested in him. I do think Ancelotti has to get the best out of him again because I don't think we've seen it for a while. Although I heard good things from people that watched the Bundesliga that when he did play, he looked decent. But just that Bayern Munich side had so many good players that didn't matter if you were good. There were other people probably better. But other than that, I do think it could really help Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, depending on the tactic that is used. Because now he's got Decore, Allen, and Rodriguez. It could go to a 4-3-3, which I think if Richarlison's moved out wide, could hurt him and could benefit Calvert-Lewin. But it's definitely a wait and see for me. As far as the defence, Ancelotti always seems to me to be a decent defensive manager, but they didn't show that last season. But I think he could turn it around a bit like I think Mourinho is turning around Tottenham's defence. So I think it definitely could be an option, and Digne does interest me. He's on my watch list, but he won't make the GAMEWEEK 1 side. But I'm definitely interested. But Everton have done this before. They've signed a lot of players before and then didn't have a very good season. I think it was the year they got Davy Klaassen and a bunch of other people, and it just failed to impress. So I'm interested, but not going there just yet. Anyone else have thoughts?
I see what you mean, and yeah, obviously there was that season where obviously Everton spent God knows how much, and were actually sort of it's the sort of thing, a similar thing when clubs come up from the Championship. They spend so much, get so many new players, and you think, oh yeah, a bit like Fulham when they went up. So they've got all these players, but they just did not gel and just went straight back down. I think it was obviously not as bad for that as Everton, but the only thing I would say regarding, I've never been a big fan of Richarlison. Obviously, he scores and proves me wrong, but I've never been a big fan. But with Rodriguez, I'm always intrigued and always sort of, it perks my attention whenever I see a player follow a manager around, or a manager follow a player around, or vice versa, whatever it may be. So when Mason Mount went to Chelsea, or, he was at Chelsea, wasn't he? He was on loan from Chelsea at Derby, wasn't he? Mason Mount.
Yes, he was on loan.
So when he stayed at Chelsea, I knew that sort of like, well, Lampard obviously likes him, so he will get a bit of a favouritism maybe at the start. He will get his starting role, and he pretty much got that for most of the first season. For now, for Rodriguez, it's the third time that Rodriguez has been at a club where Ancelotti is, so I think that speaks volumes. Not at the start, no. You've always got to wait and to see how the other players bed in. They've improved a lot in the midfield, which is good to see, because I think they were weak there. Gone are the days where you looked at the midfield and they're playing players like McCarthy. As good as he is, and as hard as he works, he's not at the level that these three are, like Allen, Decore and Rodriguez. And I think for this season, once they get firing and they get working together, they link up well, I think James Rodriguez could be a wonderful signing. But only Rodriguez for the moment, until I see what formation they play, how they play together. But for me, Rodriguez is a player that no matter what, he plays attacking midfield. Yeah. I don't think you can sort of maybe have Decore and Allen behind him. I don't think that you can really afford to put Rodriguez left centre mid in a 4-3-3, because you're completely wasting him. You're putting out of position. He doesn't work like the other two do. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sort of a 4-3-3 with him sitting above the other two. If it is, I'm interested. But until I see that in physical form, watch match of the day, whatever it is, watching from a distance, I'd say, but intrigued nonetheless.
Yeah, Yeah, they're not a team that I've spent an awful lot of time looking at. Richarlison, he's the sort of player you want to get during his purple patches, and the problem is we're not entirely sure when those purple patches are going to come, and I'm not sure I really want to kind of risk it for the start of the season, but I can see like why people would try maybe for one game week and then have him there ready to move on to say a Martial for game week 2 is possibly a good kind of 1 week punt to have a look at and see how he's going to do. And yeah, like for everything the lads have said about Rodriguez, really, I'm intrigued to see how he settles back in, and I'm pretty sure he'll be in our teams at some point during the season for sure. So yeah, that's about it, really. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that we see Digne back to his best again. That would be good because we all had him the season before last, and he was a lot of fun to own. And then last season it was a bit like meh. So he was too expensive and not worth his cash at all. But yeah, that's it really on Everton. So who do we have? What do we have next? There, I did see somebody asking for us to do our predictions. We did say we would do that, didn't we? But we'll do it a bit later on when
At a million likes.
Questions. I don't think we're gonna get
ambitious.
We have got 84 people watching, so
oh wow!
Big thanks to you. The more that you like, the more that I drink, the worse that I get.
Didn't I see 36?
I was going to say,
so
I have it.
Isn't that another shot?
I have it there ready for so.
Brett's in the chat. Hey, buddy. Hey.
Yeah. By the way, leave Brett alone. Asking him as captain because you want to pick someone else. That's shocking behaviour. How dare you?
Did see Brian Yule in the chat saying
who is he picking? Who is he picking?
I did see Brian Yule in the chat saying that there's a new season of All or Nothing coming to Amazon Prime, which is FPL TV, All or Nothing. I thought, I'd love to watch that. Just an inside look at Brett's life of picking his team.
Mine would be FPL Nimpria captain or vice captain because always captain who my vice captain is because they'll do better. And that's Salah this game week, so there you go. Early pick. I should have left that for the likes, shouldn't I?
I was going to say, have you told your captain already?
The amount of stuff I'd do to haul myself out for likes, and you just give away free information. You got to treat the likes like it's a bloody OnlyFans. Rinse them for every like they've got. Cheers, everyone.
I think we have to let them have some things for free. What's the next question then, Jay?
Before we get onto that, Mark O'Leary has said he doesn't think Digne is an option as he will lose set pieces because with James Rodriguez coming in, there's a possibility that he would take him. So that is definitely a good point.
It's a good point, but I was thinking more like him on the wing.
He's still attacked.
He's still created chances without that, but I just thought I'd mention that because that was a bonus of having him.
Yes.
So next question I'll ask is about Arsenal, and I'll give this to you, Nim, as you're the only Arsenal fan that turned up. You want to set
me off on a rant again, do you?
Maybe, we'll see. So there's two questions here, so I'll kind of pile it into one. We have John Tyner, long-time supporter of the channel.
Hi, John.
Was watching us during quarantine as well when we were streaming gaming as well.
Yeah, we will
By
get
the
back
way,
to
we
that
do
at
have
some
a
point.
Twitch channel, so feel free to go and follow us on Twitch. But he asks about an Arsenal triple up, and if memory serves me correctly, because I haven't actually copied that suggestions, I think it might have been Maitland-Niles, Aubameyang and Saka, but I could be wrong there. Might put someone else as a midfielder, but I know Aubameyang and Maitland-Niles were mentioned. And FPL Eyebrow also says thoughts on Maitland-Niles, any possibility of him starting. So Nim, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, so with the whole triple up situation, I'd just be a little bit careful because our fixtures do turn in game week 3, I think it is. So tripling up on us could be difficult if you don't have any other plans but to play only Arsenal players, every week. So I wouldn't necessarily be too keen on the triple up unless, for instance, you can bench a Maitland-Niles or you're going to bench a Saka this particular week or, whatnot. Then it's a little bit different because you're not actually playing all three every week, or you might have a plan to move Alba to KDB, like it seems like everybody has in game week 3. Although I think I'm going to really struggle with that. I'm not going to lie to everybody here. I'm going to be completely honest. If Aubameyang does well in the first 2 game weeks, it's all very well saying I'll switch him to KDB game week 3 because KDB's got a better fixture. I just don't know whether I'm going to be able to easily get off of somebody who's in form regardless of their fixtures, because we have seen Aubameyang do well against the top 6 teams already. And so that's just kind of on a little side note there for me. With the Maitland-Niles thing, honestly, I don't know. And there aren't many of us Arsenal fans that are going to be able to give you a definite answer, because, it very much looked like we were going to sell him, and he's stayed. So that means that Arteta has plans, I'm assuming, to fit him in, because he would have had to be persuaded, I guess, that he would have game time of some kind in order to stay. So I think that probably makes him an option. But in all honesty, I'm really unsure how we're gonna. I have ideas of how we could line up, but honestly, none of us are going to really know until tomorrow at 11 o'clock or 11:30, I should say. So it's really difficult. I don't want to say yes, get him in, he's banked, he's nailed, you'll be fine, and then that isn't the case come tomorrow, because I think we really need that first. That's where, like, doing something like what Kurt's doing, where he's pretty much doing a second game week wildcard, could stand in massive advantage, because he's going to get this first game week to have a really good look at everyone. And then, although I'd even say to you, Kurt, if you can hold off another week to wait and see what the City and United lads are going to do, and find out whether we're getting Sancho in the league and all that sort of stuff, then, you could be even a better stead, game week 3 to do a wild card. But, I'm just saying, like, that is my only thing, is that I would expect Maitland-Niles to start, but I wouldn't like to say 100%. There we go.
Cool. I mean, I will answer next purely because there was a question I've just seen come up about Arsenal as well. I definitely wouldn't go with the triple up, just because I think the majority of people are going to get off of Arsenal assets after game week 2. So I'd say lower ownership ones, if you're set on Saka, it's going to be a risk purely because we don't know for definite. I'd like to think Saka has earned his place, but I don't know that for sure. Maitland-Niles, the fact that he's been kept suggests they see a role for him, and with the injuries, Tierney could play as a centre-back, so maybe Niles plays. But again, it's all speculation. And the reason I've added the question is because Brett, FPL TV, has asked a question for me specifically.
Ooh, look at you.
Have you wavered on Saka yet? Don't know why you'd ask me that question. There's no drama over Saka that I know of. He's slowly wavering towards ASM, who is at least guaranteed to start. Now, I went off of Saka before a said video was made, because I'd done a more previous draft and I didn't have, or more recent draft, and I didn't have Saka. Only today did I consider it again, just because I don't plan on having Arsenal assets after game week 2 anyway. But if Saka plays those first 2 game weeks, I really like those Arsenal fixtures. And out the 5.5 million midfielders, while I'm slightly excited about St. Maximin because of the signings that have been made at Newcastle now, I think Saka is, if he starts, probably a better option than ASM. Don't get me wrong, I like St. Maximin, but I think Saka is more likely, if they both have the same game time, to get more returns. So there's still a chance I take the risk with Saka, but that is if I play a 3-5-2, and that would be Saka and ASM in my starting lineup. But it is a risk. It's clearly a risk.
Yeah. I if I'm going to go with a lineup, right, I'm thinking we're going to go Leno, even though we should be doing Martinez. I'm thinking we'll go Saliba, possibly. I'm thinking maybe holding Tini, and then let me think. Then I think we'll go something like maybe Bellerin in front of Saliba, Ceballos, because obviously now he's re-signed for us, so that'll be good. And then I don't know, and then we're gonna have Xhaka in there, because like, as much as I hate to say it, I think we are a better team when Xhaka plays for us. And then Maitland-Niles probably in front of Tini is a possibility. And then I think we'll go with Saka, Eddie and Alba up top, like we did for the Community Shield, is how I would expect our lineup to be. But again, that's only an expectation. I don't really know that's actually going to happen. So, but yes, I think Saka will play personally. So, yeah. Kurt, your thoughts on any of that before we move on?
It's basically questions about
He's
Arsenal.
bored of Arsenal now.
Well, it's pretty much been covered. I mean, I don't really know what's happening, so I can't really comment too much. I hope Willian starts. I think he could be good for Arsenal, especially against Fulham, but I don't really know, so I can't really comment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he could, like, maybe move Danny out and then have Willian. Yeah, have Willian maybe if he took off. If you took Bellerin off. Sorry, I kind of went away. I went thinking, who did I say now? Who did I say now? Bellerin. Yes, if you took Bellerin off, move Danny out, and then put Willian in, that's possibly how he could do that. Okay, cool. Let's move on then.
Okay, so a bit more of a general question, and I'll go to Kurt first. It's from Mig, so thank you, Mig, for the question. So it's a question for you, Bud, Honey, and Buddy. Which new signing has got you most excited for FPL?
Oh, thank God for that.
What did you think the question was going to be? Did you think it was going to be another Arsenal one?
No, I thought it was going to be something about scummy, dirty Palace.
I think we all don't think there's much to look at Palace. Yeah.
Finally, they're going down. Finally, they're going down. Carry on.
Hodgson first sacked.
It's all about Batshuayi, isn't it? Love a bit of bat shizzle. Get
Over
on
Calum
Batshuayi.
Wilson? You can't use the GIF if you don't put Wilson in your side.
Oh, he's not in my side right now.
Can't use the GIF.
Oh, I'll have to get a fan team and stick him in there then. Just to have him somewhere. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Zaha is always an option for Palace. He ticks along nicely, doesn't he? No.
Wait, no. We're not talking about Palace. Let's not do that.
Oh, okay. Let's not do that.
Brett's question was about. Sorry, Mig, but we're not talking about Palace. Not on this stream. Not if I'm in charge of the questions.
I was about to end this mother trucker. I was about to press stop stream and OBS, and I'm not sitting talking about Palace tonight. I've done enough of that over pre-season. I haven't talked about them once.
Sorry,
I
tried, Betty. I tried.
it's about the most exciting signing for FPL this season. That is the question. And it's for Kurt first, because he didn't talk much about Arsenal, which I'm pretty sure he didn't want to talk about anyway.
Well, it's just I'd like to comment like I've got inside knowledge, but I don't, so I couldn't comment. I'd like to sort of look at sort of domestic transfers and try and ignore them, but you've got to say a few. But Calum Wilson at Newcastle, I think he's generously priced at 6.5. Oh, Jay disagrees, doesn't he? Jesus Christ, Calum Wilson is out the door.
It's literally like not having this. Like, he's gone after him. Wilson.
He didn't leave after he's talked about Palace. Bloody hell. God.
He's gone to find him now, Kurt. He's gone to find him. He's gone to see if he's.
Anyway, trying to ignore the fact that I am almost in tears at the fact that I've said 3 words and I said J&O running out of the room. Calum Wilson being a domestic transfer intrigues me a lot because I think he's generously priced. And yeah, apart from that, I mean, he's generously priced. I think he could score a lot of goals. I think if he keeps himself fit, which is more important, he's struggled with that, he could be a phenomenal signing. And I think you look at the Bournemouth team, they were treading water for a long time, and I think the season before last, he had a fantastic season. This season, he was working on limited resources, and he still did well. So that's one for me that intrigues me. Apart from that, though, going outside, obviously, Rodriguez intrigues me, and I'll just cover it. Sancho, if he joins, will really, really perk my interest. All the Chelsea signings really get me intrigued because they've overhauled their attacking lineup, which is always a risk because if you start with a front three, they could start with a front three of Werner, Havertz, and Ziyech, and it's untested. I mean, I think
Did you find him, Jay? Did you find Wilson?
No,
you were out there.
He was unfound. I couldn't find him.
Where are you?
Yeah, the three attackers that the Chelsea have signed, I think, all really, really intriguing. Havertz especially. Werner, I think you know roughly what you're going to expect. Havertz could be a player that will constantly improve or has just found his level already. That's the worry with Kai Havertz because he's been brilliant, but is he a player that he's joined and he has found where his peak is at? Not to say he can't replicate it. He can obviously replicate it, but can he get better than it? That's the question. I think he can, but we'll wait to see. But they're the main ones, really. And then you can go lower down and look at some of the interesting signings that the clubs down the bottom of the table have made. But for me, you're looking at Rodriguez for Everton. Domestically, you're looking at Wilson. Or Fraser once he's fit as well, because I think they're two phenomenal players. And then from there, it's a guessing game, really. It's just luck. Who plays well? I mean, we'd love to say there's a way of knowing, but there's not really. There's not really a way of knowing of who's going to play well for a new club and who's not.
A little sneaky pick for me is Lewis of Newcastle, 4.5. I'm seriously considering him in my team for sure. Because I was like, the other night I was chatting to the elite lads about having a Newcastle defender because we were all a bit like, who to have in as our 4.5 positions at the back. And I was a little bit like, the options are slim, or like we can't really kind of rely on like Vinagre, for instance. We're a bit unsure about him, although he should keep a spot for a little while. Justin, obviously, we have the issue with Pereira possibly returning, although he should be fine for a while as well. But they're all kind of question marky, and I was like, I quite like the Newcastle fixtures, and I know the defence was a little wobbly there in, the later half of the season, Project Restart, but I just really like the fixtures, and I think 4.5 Lascelles, like Jay was saying, he's got Lascelles in the team. I was like really considering it. And then when I got off of the stream, I put a message out on Twitter asking, because, we don't know everything about every club, it's just impossible. So asking, a few Newcastle people what they think, and they were, not sure, like we need a new signing, that sort of stuff. And then the very next day we got Lewis, and a lot of my Newcastle buddies online were like, this guy could be brilliant for attacking threat. Now, I shouldn't be telling everybody this because, you
said this on the Elite stream as
I know. I shouldn't be telling everyone about Newcastle defence, like, just generally, because I want to try and keep it a secret. But I'm kind of like that. I like to share. And I put it in my video, and he carries some weight with attacking threat. So I think he's possibly one to consider. So that's one of my new signing gems that I've spotted. It'll probably be absolutely rubbish now, but I'm interested to see how he'll get on for sure.
I mean, just so I can answer that question as well.
But I mean, Kurt pretty much said everybody. So that was the only one I could think of that he didn't say.
If he said everyone, that's going to make it really difficult for me then. But
I just read out a list of signings in and out.
He did pretty
what
much.
I will then add is the thing is, Newcastle were good defensively before lockdown, and then kind of when they were safe, that's when their defence didn't look as good, if memory serves me correctly off of the stats. So when they have survival in mind, Newcastle seem to be decent defensively. I'm not saying they were groundbreaking. They weren't.
No.
There's a lot better defensive sides out there, like, say, Burnley.
Mm.
But they weren't terrible. And if Lewis has any sort of attacking threat as well, and if you think now the front players for Newcastle are a lot better than they were about a week ago, I would say Lewis is a decent shout. I'll worry about him starting the first game. That would be my only worry. But I think they've clearly signed him for a reason. He should be their starting left back.
Yeah.
So I definitely like the pick of Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go for my most exciting player because I'm assuming Kurt said him.
We'll say it anyway, just in case.
For me, it would be Havertz and Werner.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they would be said.
Yeah.
Like, I just think there's so much value in that Chelsea side, which leads us on. I'm sure there was a Chelsea question. From John Tyner again, is it a risk not having any Chelsea players or waiting to see how they perform together? So I'll carry on just because I was talking about them anyway. I don't think it's necessarily a risk to not have them from game week 1, apart from Werner, because his ownership's so high that if he does do really well, then that's not a great start for everyone else, because isn't he around 50% owned or something? Close to that anyway.
Yeah, he's one of, if not the highest owned in the game.
I think it's the fact that he did so well in the Bundesliga, one of the top scorers in the 5 elite leagues. It's every now and again you take a punt on a player, and like when Salah came in, take the likes of Zlatan or Bruno. If you took the punt on Bruno when he first came in, sometimes a player just comes in and they have that natural quality, and you think they could carry this straight on into the Premier League. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. You've had plenty of players come to the Premier League and take time to settle in. But I just think there's a risk with Werner that he's such a natural goal scorer that he could just hit the ground running, and that price of 9.5 will look too cheap and he'll rise in price. But there's also the chance that he plays out wide on the left. It's possible. He does like to drift out there anyway. And if he doesn't have a great game against Brighton, you could see his price drop massively. But I'd say at the moment only Werner's the risk, I'd say. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see who the best midfielder to pick is, because a lot of people like Pulisic's price. Then you've also got Havertz coming in, who's got high expectations as well. If he plays centrally, I think with Ziyech's play style, I think the likes of Havertz and Pulisic could benefit a lot. I'm not saying Ziyech won't get a lot of assists, but I just feel like potentially the goal threat of Ziyech will drop because of the players around him. So I'm definitely interested in them, but I'd say Werner's probably the only risk at the beginning of the season.
Do we think Mount still gets to play in all of this?
I think there'll be rotation. They've got Champions League, so I think there'll be rotation. I think Mount will feature. I don't know if he's got like different tactics for different teams, but I definitely think Mount, and I think even Abraham will feature. I think substitutions.
I completely forgot about him.
I really
Poor
like.
Tammy.
Even, if you
just
think
like,
Giroud didn't even do that bad, so I think there will be rotation. I think,
and somebody put a bid in for him, didn't they? And he said that he didn't want to leave, or that Chelsea still have plans for him, or something or other. So that was interesting.
I think they've really strengthened their squad for a good campaign in Champions League and Premier League. So I think there will be rotation, which is again a worry, because I don't think any of them are necessarily nailed on. But if you can find the pattern of who plays in the league and who plays in the Champions League, then maybe we could take advantage of how cheap the Chelsea players are.
Yeah, agreed. If they stay that cheap.
That's
One
the
good
thing.
game week, and that's it. They're all going to skyrocket.
At the beginning of the season, they are players that could skyrocket in price.
Yeah. Okay.
A new question?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts to add? New question?
No, I think, we're all
Cool.
good
So
on
I don't particularly want this one. So
Yay.
I will go to Kurt, because he's not got enough stress as it is.
Oh, cheers. Thank you, that.
Look at him on his beach there. Just
look, he's
enjoying
relaxing
life
on a beach.
with some sex on the beach. He's a happy man.
So we've had 48 likes. So
I
that means
wish.
He must have done. He must have done 4 shots by now, right?
I've done 3.
Because I see 48 likes, so that means there's a
Why am I
4th
always
shot
one
coming.
behind? I see 47.
I've
Refresh
noticed
the
that
page.
myself. When I'm running the stream, it does seem like I often get told we're on so many likes, and I'm looking going, no, we're not.
I don't mean to
Yeah, I've got
ignore them, but
No.
I will
He
get
is
on to
looking
number
at his
4.
likes.
Don't worry. Give me the question and I'll do it.
Okay, so it's from Brian Yule,
Pass.
who's often. I can choose one or two because he's asked 2 questions. So depending on the number you pick,
Both. I'll do both. Go on.
you'll do both in
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a curt speed round after a shot? Okay, the first question. I really would love to be sold on Justin, with Leicester having no central defenders left. I'm presuming it's a joke, because I don't think Rodgers is fit enough to start. Will Rodgers come out of retirement to line up alongside Soyuncu? So I think the general question is try and sell him on Justin, or tell him he is right and Justin is a good pick. And who are the best 5 midfielders under 9 million for a budget of 40 million? And can
There's
they make
9 midfielders.
9 million midfielders?
Oh, 9 million. I thought he asked for 9 separate options.
no,
Like,
no.
Jesus Christ, take it.
And can they match having 2 premium and 3 junk picks? So I'm assuming he means budget picks.
Right. Leicester's defence, I mean, in terms of centre-backs, they've got Soyuncu and Amati. So I presume Amati will play. There's no confirmation yet on Morgan, but he could potentially play. He's still at the club. So in terms of centre-backs, I think you're fine.
Especially for game week 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I'm knocking West Brom, but I am.
Whoa, what's that? We've got a super chat.
Oh, we got a super chat.
I will answer that.
Speaking of West Brom, Matthias Pereira, thoughts on him?
Too expensive. Personally, he looks
Is
good.
he 6 mil?
6 million. And
I think they priced that right. I don't think they
Yeah.
could have priced if at 5.5. He would be very, very close to being my side, even with me not particularly liking their fixtures.
It's just, it's I don't know what it is, and maybe it's just prejudiced or promoted up to Premier Leagueist, but 6 million for a player that's playing in a team that most people are predicting West Brom to go down, yet also say, "Oh, Pereira's going to be a phenomenal pick." It can't have a phenomenal season and also go down. He can have a good season and go down, but he can't have I'll tell you what, he's going to score 20 plus goals, 10 assists this season, and then also have West Brom go down, because West Brom aren't that poor. They're poor enough to go down, but I just think it's got to be one or the other. And personally, I'm siding on the side of the fence that is West Brom are going to go down. He could be good, but I think he could be good for a lower price. That's my my one and only issue. It's the same thing.
The way I look at it is, are West Brom the type of side that can score a lot of goals? Where we had Norwich and we had Fulham the year before, where you got Mitrovic and you got Pukki, who had periods where they could do well. Yeah, it wasn't for the whole season, but if you pick the right times, they could do well. But you need goals for a player to do well in. Do I see West Brom scoring a lot of goals? No.
Well, they're
So
four
if I don't see them
strikers.
scoring, yeah, their 4 strikers are terrible.
Austin, Park Life. He's the sort of player you give him service and he'll do well, but you
But
need
he
to
had
be
Pereira
a good.
behind him, and he didn't do that well in the Championship.
Yeah,
Like,
they were always rotated in the Championship, so that probably gets rid of Park Life, that gets rid of Zahore, that gets rid of Robinson Kano. They have signed Calum Robinson, who I think was an indifferent player at best anyway. So whether they've signed him to become a 4th rotation option or he's going to start, if he does start, then that, in terms of going for a player, would be someone that I'm interested in. If he
yeah,
was
but that's more
guaranteed to
be a
start most
bench
games,
option, though, surely.
who?
Robinson.
Well, that's the thing. If he was to go in, he'd most likely be on the bench.
I would like him just for my bench, yeah, just as a guaranteed starter.
But I don't think he's guaranteed to start. Because I think you look at the attackers they've got, you can't guarantee able to start Robinson every time when you've got a player as skillful as Robinson Kanu and as sort of experienced as Park Life. That's the only issue. But in terms of West Brom, if the team was solid, I'd think, yeah, fair enough. 6 million for Pereira, that's good. If Pereira was in Leeds at 6 million, I'd be snapping him up. I think Leeds looks solid, and they may not be as strong as the Wolves or Sheffield United teams to go up from the previous years in their first season, but They look definitely more solid than West Brom, but it's just £6 million for a team that is going to be battling relegation from the first whistle of the season. Doesn't intrigue me, really.
I don't know that much about them. So I've just enjoyed that whole debate. Thank you, lads. That was thoroughly enjoyable.
I'm here all week.
But yeah, for most people, they feel like Pereira's been pitted at the right price. But I do get what you're saying also. I think Brett summed up nicely in the chat that he's kind of a bit of a wait and see for me on Pereira front. Oh, by the way, we have 95 people watching. Thank you so much, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And I myself am only just 6 away now from 4K over on my channel.
Oh, so that's why she has no opinion on West Brom. She's been looking at her channel going,
No, I don't know much about them, and it would be wrong of me to try and pitch in when I don't know too much.
The more likes we get, the more shots Kurt does.
Very true.
I mean, we'll go back to Brian's question because I think we stopped because of the super chat.
Yes, sorry, I got distracted.
Right.
It was shiny on me, the OBS.
Yeah, exactly. I know what it's like. You see it and it just pops up and like, hello, you've got a super chat. But yeah, I think we covered the Leicester City. I really think that whilst I think they dropped in form at the end of last season, I think potentially a lot of teams just got to that point in the season. I think Leicester thought they had top 4 wrapped up, and then by the time they realised they didn't, it was a bit too late to sort it out. I think Leicester shouldn't be too bad in good fixtures. I would definitely not rely on Leicester City defenders in anything, say, against a top 10 potential side, though. So I don't mind Justin because I think he's the one that will stay in the side, even with Castan signing. So I don't mind Justin as a pick, but I personally haven't put him in my side just because I think down the line he'll probably be dropped, and then that's a transfer I've got to use. And if that's game week 8, then I might have a different transfer in mind. So I'm trying to pick defenders that I don't have to actually worry about until wildcard time, and I'm trying to hold my wildcard for as long as possible. As far as the 5 best midfielders under 9 million that could potentially balance out against 2 premium midfielders, it does depend if you're captaining those premium midfielders and if you're going to captain these mid-price ones, because of course you're doubling the points there. There's plenty of question marks in that price range. If Mahrez could nail down a starting place, I would really like Mahrez at his price. We've got Willian, who could do well at Arsenal, but it's a wait and see. And the issue I have with most of these options is it's a wait and see. Mount at 7 million, we don't know what his game time is going to be like. Pulisic I really like, but again, the worry is rotation. Ali, you consider him a starter, but their Spurs' fixture list is really busy. So the issue I have with nearly everyone I'm suggesting is I'm not 100% sure their game time is going to be decent enough that I would tell you, yes, go for them, compared to a premium price option, the likes of De Bruyne, the likes of Sterling, that even with Champions League football around, you think if they can, they're starting. You've got Salah and Aubameyang. Are Arsenal going to start without Aubameyang? Not unless they have to. Salah, Mane, always going to start if they can. Bruno Fernandes, Man United aren't going to drop him if they don't have to. So all of those options seem so much more nailed on and safer right now. And then maybe as we go on into the season, someone like a Havertz might prove himself to be pretty nailed on. And then you can start thinking, okay, how do I balance out my side? But at the beginning of the season, I'd say premium is safest.
Yeah.
I saw
Okay.
Kurt shaking his head. I don't know when he shook his head, though, because I saw it on the stream.
Would Arsenal play without Aubameyang?
Ah, okay. That makes perfect sense.
Absolutely not.
Well, I mean, we'd have to if we don't re-sign his contract.
Didn't they? I thought they were going to announce it today. I heard yesterday they were going to announce it today.
Well, I haven't seen anything unless I've missed the signing of the
We have been
season.
busy.
I have been very busy. That was true.
Let us know in the chat if you've seen anything about his contract.
Yes,
Because
do.
I heard yesterday that at Arsenal were going to announce it today.
True.
Have they announced
Yes.
it today? Then you heard.
I haven't seen anything.
That's a shame. That might mean something's gone very wrong.
Oof. Imagine.
Get
Imagine.
out.
Yeah, it'd be an easy sell though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be an easy sell? Be so easy.
Okay, so we have a question from Razvan, and it is Wildcats.
Hey, Razvan.
What are your general
Is that
rules?
RP?
Yes.
Cool.
What are your general rules on picking your teams for the first game week? And we'll go Nim for that one.
Salah. Salah and Trent is usually where I start, and then I build everyone else around it. My rules are usually just to have a plan on how I want to move on from game week 1. That is usually kind of how I try and look at it, try and have a bit of an idea of where I can go next, which is why I'm freaking out a little bit on my current team, because I am like not sure where I can move to next from the kind of setup that I have currently, and it's worrying me slightly. So, but I think if you can have a bit like what Jay's got, and Kurt actually, I mean Kurt's set up to use his wild card next, so he's got his strategy in place. Jay has a rough idea of who he wants to captain when, so he has a rough idea of what transfers he can make based on that, and that's usually a really good way to start. If you can look at your team and think, okay, I could move to that player from that player, I can get to that player from that player in 1 or 2 moves, and that's a good strategy in my books, and that's usually what I try and do at the beginning of the season, but I haven't had any time to do that, so this will be interesting. But yeah, I genuinely don't tend to do so well at the start of the season anyway, which is why last season was a bit of a shock to me, because I came for that brace in the first game week and did really well for the first couple of game weeks, and then it kind of all went a bit downhill from there, whereas I usually go the other way around. So I'm hoping I'll go back to that formula again this season if I can possibly. But there he goes again. What about you, Kurt? What's your strategy?
Try not to die.
I was going to say, you went straight to him after that. It's like, speak now.
Cheeky little plug for myself there in the chat. Oh, mate, you're suffering.
Oh, it's just I tried to talk when you spoke to me, and then I sped things up when I shouldn't have done it. It's just...
Look, he's doing this for your entertainment, people.
I'm doing this to get the likes.
The more likes.
We're only one away from 100 people watching right now. Crazy.
The question was for rules for game week 1.
Yes.
Ignore Twitter. It's a toxic place at best of times. And I've always, whenever I've gone off Twitter and made my decisions off Twitter, I look back and I think, I went against what I was thinking, I went against my gut, and it ended up costing me. A lot of the time, very seldom is there an occasion where I look on Twitter, I change my team, and it actually pays off. Twitter is a place filled with experts that like to spout their opinion off as gold. And yeah, my first thing is not look at Twitter, because that is not a place to get your tips from. There's no experts in FPL. You can't have it's like saying there's an expert at a roulette. It's random. The ball spins in random ways. So you can't be a roulette. It's like chucking a bit of sand in the air and asking where the granules are going to fall. You can't be an expert. It's random. The wind could take it anywhere. But yeah, that one thing is Twitter. The second thing is just make your decision and stick with it. Be strong, because it's easy to flip-flop, and we've all done it. Even if it's first game week or any game week, have an idea of what you want to do and then think, oh, do I want to do it? And then you've got 30 minutes till the game week deadline. You're thinking, oh, you're transferring players in and out. You're going from this player to this player, back to that player. Just stick with what you believe is right. That's what I'm doing. So from tonight, my ideal game week 1 is to be set on my team, So know if I'm going to be having Willian in my team or not, his replacement, maybe getting another Liverpool player in, who knows, and then that's it. I've made my decision, I've stuck by it, they've changed the deadline so you can't get any early team news, that's it, it's all done then. You've got to be strong, otherwise you'll flip-flop until you think, oh, I didn't make that transfer back to that player, it'll cost you. So my thing is ignore Twitter and just stick with your original decision and be strong, otherwise it's going to be a long old season for you.
And on that note, we've just hit over 100 viewers. So thank you everybody to everyone who's watching. Very much appreciated.
I'm so excited I closed my chat by accident.
Oh, the FPL WildCats, we are usually 4 YouTubers. So it's usually Jano
One
from
of us couldn't be
FPL.
bothered.
Someone
today.
bottled it.
Kurt is from Kurt Yoi. And then we have FPL TV Brett, who couldn't make it tonight because he was very busy on one of his videos. So, and myself, FPL Nymphrия, and we do have guests on frequently as well. So we are just, a much more relaxed take on FPL. We just have a bit of a laugh and hopefully impart some of our tips and tricks that we've learned along the way on our own channels, and we bring it all here and collate and discuss about it on this channel. So if you're liking the content and you're enjoying this relaxed feel, then do like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Always very much appreciated. Okay, Jay, do we have another question in the chat? Just seen Brett say that's awkward. Love it.
Some people have game week. I just want to quickly say
Pathetic.
My strategy, or if I was going to give you one strategy, would be you don't have to be massively different for game week 1.
Yeah, that's agreed.
Like you can be different for the rest of the season, but sometimes going into game week 1 and making sure you don't have the most terrible start ever is...
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so we have Epic Sounds asking, what do we think about doubling Spurs with their schedule of fixtures also in Europe? So I have seen some drafts that have, say, your Son in and maybe a defender like Doherty, Dyer, Davies. I personally don't mind it too much because I think defenders generally get rotated less, especially for someone like Mourinho. As far as attackers go, they do have enough attackers where there's potential for rotation. Really, the strategy is to not keep your Spurs attacker for too long, or at least that's what I've seen from a lot of people. I've got Son, I don't plan on keeping Son for that long, so it does depend what you're using them for. If you're using them for the start of the season and then you plan to go to the likes of Man City, Man United, then it's not really too much of an issue because you've got a plan in place and you know what you're doing. But if you're planning on keeping them long term, I would myself be worried about what rotation could happen. A lot of managers generally have used Kane no matter what, so I suppose you could say he's nailed on. But we've also seen when he is nailed on and gets played so frequently, he can sometimes drop in his performance, and Kane just generally is a striker I don't like anymore because I don't see the consistency. If I compare him to someone like Aguero, I feel a lot safer having an Aguero than a Kane. Because yes, there was a period when Kane was a must-own, especially when he was really cheap. But sometimes he drops too deep. Sometimes midfielders overlap him, and he just doesn't seem in the right place at the right time. Then he will have a game where he's brilliant, and he'll convince everyone you need to bring him in again, and it doesn't always necessarily work out. So I'm not really interested in Spurs long term. The reason I have Son is because I have plans to move him on, and for game week 1 at least, Son looks like a decent option.
Yeah, I had a bit of a feeling for Son, like the second the whole blank game week thing came up and I couldn't no longer have, United or City, I was suddenly thinking, quite fancy that Spurs, fixture setup. So, but I'm not sure on the double. I mean, Doherty, he's a great player, and that was a great signing by them. Absolutely fantastic. But I just kind of want to see him there first before kind of putting that level of cash in him. So yeah, I'm not sure about it. Yeah, that's me. What about you, Kurt? Would you do the double up?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been listening, but for a good reason, because I think the stream's frozen, but we can still hear us.
Oh, okay.
So I've been
Have you
trying
got
to look at.
concentration face?
Yeah, I was trying to
Oh
focus on
wow,
that.
my face is really unflattering.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I've been trying to focus on that, and I don't quite know why. So if we can sort of pass over me and continue talking, that would be wonderful.
But yeah, let us know in the chat as well if it's still frozen on my terrible face there. But yeah, we can move on. We'll cover another question. So we have a couple of questions from J Botros 26. It's mainly around how to bring in Man City options. He was a bit more specific with one of his questions. He has Salah and Aubameyang and Son, and he says what to do if I want to put De Bruyne in next week, but I want to keep those free. I mean, that seemed, unless you've got a bigger budget than the rest of us,
Yeah.
that just seems almost impossible. You'd have to have really cheap forwards and really cheap defenders, because to have a side of Salah, Aubameyang, Son, and De Bruyne in, that's a massive amount of your budget. That's 24, 35.5.
You'd have to go
44.5-ish.
Yeah,
That's
you'd
almost half your
literally
budget.
you'd have to go 4 mil, 4.5 goalkeeper. Then you'd have to go Trent and 3 4.5s and 1 4 mil at the back. Then you'd have to go. Then you'd have Alba, either a 4.5 midfielder or 2 5.5s, Salah and De Bruyne, and then say a 9.5 in Werner or Martial, a Mitro, or who else have we got in that position? Wilson, and then a 4.5 up top. So yeah, it is possible. It is possible, definitely. But
Possible, but I'm just not sure I'd like the rest of my options is the problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does also ask what you're doing on the Man City situation. Who do I put De Bruyne in for? Now, for me, it's Aubameyang. And I know it was said earlier that I think you said it, Nim, that you'd struggle to put Aubameyang in. Get rid of Aubameyang if you'd done well in the first 2 game weeks. For me, I wouldn't, purely because I'm hoping he does well in those first 2 game weeks. But as far as sides go that I know can turn over a side, I kind of prefer other teams that I think can score bigger hauls. So, for instance, Man City and Liverpool, I think generally would agree, are a lot more capable of getting your 4, 5, 6 goals in a game than Arsenal are. And I think if I'm also going to look at Man United and Chelsea, I would favour them for getting a high amount of goals compared to Arsenal. And I'm also like, that being the case, even though I think Aubameyang is the most likely to score when Arsenal score, I just think there's a bigger upside for my captaincy picks if I have players from those 4 sides who I think can overturn teams more than Aubameyang and Arsenal can. So for me, even if Aubameyang does do really well, unless Arsenal turn those 2 teams over like by 4 or 5 goals, I'm still probably going to make the move from Aubameyang to Kevin De Bruyne. Most likely. I can't guarantee that, because if Aguero's done amazing in game week 2, I'm going to be very tempted by Aguero over De Bruyne. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's how I'm getting a Man City player in, at least.
Cool. Yeah, I mean it's the way to go, isn't it? And then maybe, like you said, yeah, there's Salah, Alba, and the easy ways. Are we good now? Oh, we're back.
I think we're all right. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I just started ending processes.
Mick says Brett's attacking the stream.
It's
I
not
was
my
joking
fault,
when I said that stuff about you.
No, he bottled it.
No,
He's
I'm
panicking
not
for
having
game week
DDoS
1.
in the stream
He bottled
again.
it. No regrets. No nothing.
Okay.
Also, 60 likes. Get up to 60 likes. Then we can hit 70 and 80 and 90. But 60 likes, I'll do another shot. So get those likes in now that it's sort of fixed. Carry on.
Cool. How many questions do we have left, Jay? Is it worth doing a bit of a
Loads.
quick fire now?
I mean, I've only got one left before I've got the quickfire.
Oh, cool. Go on then.
I mean, we have loads of questions, but
We also got
some
to do
were
the predictions
repeats.
as well.
Oh yeah.
And I think I saw Jeff in the
Oh, Jeff
chat.
is. We
So
need
apparently,
Jeff's corner
question might have been sent to you potentially.
Okay.
So,
Let me check.
but
No,
while we're
no.
doing that,
No, still nothing.
let me
Unbelievable.
I'll ask Kurt the question because I know he'll like this. While I try and find it. Funny enough, after I said everything I said about Palace, a question came in about Palace. And I know Kurt loves talking about Crystal Palace. So what do you think about Zaha? Because it looks like he's been playing up front in pre-season.
He's frozen again.
He's frozen. The rest of us
Seems
have
frozen,
Yeah,
guys,
we're all
unfortunately.
fine.
I can't answer the stupid question.
You can answer it quickly if you want.
What price is Zaha?
I don't know. I've never looked in.
Exactly. There you go. I mean, I will give you an actual answer.
He's
but
7 million.
7 million for a failing Palace side,
Seven.
and he's going to play up front.
7 million.
But if he's playing up front, what on earth are they doing with players like Christian Benteke, Jordan Ayew, Michi Batshuayi? Where are they going to play? Are they all going to be benched or put in the reserves because they're playing Zaha up front? That's insane. That's basically Palace's last-ditch attempt, if that is the case, to say, please don't leave us. If you leave us, we're going down. Even if you're here, we're most likely going down. But if you leave us, we are 100% going down. I wouldn't be looking at Palace options unless they're a £4.5 million defender. If Remy Gator was 4.5 million, I'd say maybe. Maybe I'd consider him. Some of the defenders I'm considering just because they're cheap. Stuff like Mitchell. Just for the fact that you look at the defence, they've got 4 fit defenders. So he's potentially guaranteed a start. Maybe. Have they made any decent signings? No. Any interesting signings that are going to improve their team? No. Anyone that's going to help Zaha on the attack? No. Michi Batshuayi.
Is it Eze? Is Easy? I don't know how you say his name.
He's come from the Championship. That just about. I mean, he could be good and he could play well in the Premier League, but when clubs are looking in the Championship to sign their players, it's an early warning sign for where they're going. And generally, Norwich did that last season. I remember saying it at some point. Norwich have just fished in the Championship pond, which means they're expecting to go down. At best, they stay up and they're lucky. But, I mean, it's early warning signs for Palace that. I mean, granted, I think Eze was good. And I think he was one of the better players in the Championship. But, yeah, Zaha could well do all right in a few games. But are Palace going to be consistent enough to the point where he's going to get consistent support? He's going to put the balls onto strikers that are going to score. Have the strikers at the club got proven goal-scoring records? Has he got a proven record? The answer to all those is pretty much no. I mean, I hate Palace. I've an undying
Really?
hate. Yeah, I don't know how you get that.
Oh my god! Wow.
But,
Did you not know this?
I know. Yeah, we should know this.
But yeah, I don't know how you haven't got it before.
We've known him long
I knew
enough.
this.
We should probably
I
know
know,
this.
it's weird that.
Maybe.
I mean, I have a soft spot for them purely because they let my side play at their stadium for a long time.
Wow. You know.
But yeah, obviously, like, being, going back onto the question, being serious, yeah, I don't like Palace, but it's the same way as if like I can't stand Sheffield United. But credit where it's due, I mentioned
Razvan
when they
did
were
that.
doing
Up in
well.
the chat.
Sheffield United or
Put
Sheffield
that up in the
Wednesday.
chat. Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned lots of times last season, and when they went up, that they could easily survive. They could be torn apart. They could easily survive, and I hope they did survive, because if it means getting Yorkshire football and football from the northern region back up to the Premier League, I mean, it's a positive for all sorts. Could you imagine a Premier League in a few years' time where you've got Leeds, Sheffield United, and Sheffield Wednesday all battling it out? that would be a throwback to the good old days. And in terms of taking my hatred for Palace out of the way for just that one game, their squad is pants. It's injury ridden. It's full of players that can't perform on a regular basis.
Yeah, just take your hatreds out of it there.
If I put my hatred in, I'll just say Palace are going down. But I'm giving you actual reason as to why they're going down, because they haven't improved.
So we know what one of Kurt's predictions
I
is
mean,
going to be.
don't get me wrong, nothing against you, Mick, but I tend to agree with Kurt as far as
you look at the other teams around them. They've improved at least in one area. Palace, who have they signed? They've signed Batshuayi, who was indifferent at best for them, and basically failed.
The window is still open.
They could sign more players, but at the moment it's getting towards the first game of the season. They won't get anyone else in the door before they play for the first time, and their signings are Michy Batshuayi, who failed at Chelsea and now is going back to Palace because he's got nothing else better on the table, and then Eze, who's a Championship player. I mean, I would love to just say they're going down because I don't like them. They're going down because they've done the same thing as Norwich, and that is not signed as many players as Norwich, but they've fished in the wrong pools, and they're expecting to go down. At best, they'll survive, then try and rebuild next season. But they're clinging on to Zaha, and for me, they've been treading water for years, and at the moment, there's nothing stopping them going down. They need to make a massive few signings, otherwise they are in deep, deep trouble.
Okay then.
Facts.
Sorry, Palace fans.
No,
Right.
not sorry. Your club's let you down. I'm not sorry for West Ham fans with the Sullivan and everything and GSB out.
I
West
think
Ham
West Ham are definitely in contention as well for going
Yeah, exactly.
down.
West Ham have screwed the pooch as well. I'm not sorry for them. Their owners let them down. I'm sorry. I'm slightly sorry to the fans, but it's nothing to do with me. Anyway, my rant about Palace and everything is over. Back to you
Right,
guys.
so quick fire.
Go to sleep.
Quick fire. You can't go
fire.
to sleep, it's quick fire.
Oh.
Quick fire.
And how many more lights do we need for another shot? I think it's just one.
Oh, I've got 50 done as well. I'm back on target. I was assuming you were going to say 60.
No. We're on 59 at the moment. So one more like and
Let's double
has to
check.
do another shot and you might get another round. Although it is quick fire round now.
Yes.
A 1 minute run.
So, I'm not going to be as strict as Brett just because I can't bother to put a timer out. I'm just going to ask, and if I think
Oh
you're taking
God,
too
that
long, I'm
means
going
we're
to cut you off.
yeah. Oh, okay. I was going to say we could end up all over the place if that's
I
the
will
case.
just cut. To be honest, all of these should be pretty quick to answer. So, we'll start off with Ezo127. Thank you for the question. We've got Adams or Mitrovic, and we'll start with you, Nim.
Ooh,
Too long. Okay. I'm joking. Go on, Nim.
Both.
Both? Oh, no.
I've got both of them in it.
Oh.
I stay on it. Probably. Oh, I don't know. Mitrovic has been in my team since the very beginning, so I tend to lean there. But Che did have a very good end to the season and in Project Restart, so that is a very tough one. Very tough one. Wow. Yeah, it's really tough.
I'm used to be the one drinking the most on stream. I'm not used to this. He's
Um,
doing shots. He's doing sex on the beach.
I don't know.
I just lost all care in the world.
Well,
Really?
you need to
That
care for
bad?
quickfire.
Yeah,
Alright, Mitro.
there we go.
Okay, I'm going to go Shea Adams. Southampton in better form. And Premier League side.
Mitro did score in pre-season though. Just saying.
Lots of people scored in pre-season.
No, lots of people.
Shea Adams scored in pre-season.
Oh yeah. Wow, don't know. Did he?
He did.
Okay.
He
Cool.
definitely did. Southampton turned over a side with like 5, 6, 7 goals, something like that.
Salah didn't score in pre-season. Just saying.
Still captain him. I don't care about pre-season. I think pre-season's overrated. But anyway,
Very
sticking on Shea Adams or Danny Ings?
true. If you got the budget, Ings.
If you've got the budget, definitely Ings.
Yes.
If you've not got the budget, make the budget for Ings.
That's my issue, though. I've made the budget for Ings, and now I'm like, oh, I don't have the money for my midfield.
Yeah, now I don't have the budget for everyone else.
Like, if I didn't have Ings, I would have an easy Son to Bruno Fernandes. It'd be easy for me.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
otherwise, it has to be Salah down to Bruno or something like that. Window Beer Review with Thomas asks, Vardy, yes or no?
The legend Thomas McCarthy, no.
It is Thomas McCarthy, isn't it? He changed his name. It always confuses me. I'm always expecting to see Thomas McCarthy. Feels like years since I've seen that name. But it's Window Beer. I need to know what beers he's reviewing, just because I want to know. But anyway, Nim.
I haven't personally, but I do like the idea of a Vardy party game week 1.
I'd say no, because I just don't trust Leicester at the moment. I think Madison's injury. I think Ricardo Pereira, Ben Chilwell not there. Don't get me wrong, it's Vardy. He could definitely have a Vardy party. But just I'm not feeling that Leicester side at the moment. Fantasy Football Focus, Graham. We all know Graham. Been on the stream, been on Nim's stream, Dream Team stream. So feel free to go check that out when we're finished. Yeah. Just in case you want more FPL
7
content.
subs away from the 4K. Help me out, peeps. Not sure I've mentioned it enough.
Another shot. I wish I'd got something to shot now. I don't like seeing people do shots, and I'm not doing shots with them. But anyway,
I just give Mrs. J a text and ask her to bring some.
I've got no shots in the house unless she goes out. Which means if the kid wakes up, I'm then disappearing. Fantasy Football Focus asks, Kane or Werner more points in game week 1?
Werner. Although Kane did look good in the England game the other night, but I'm going to stick with Werner.
I'm saying this from someone that didn't watch it.
All right.
But I heard some people say they watched it and thought, no, I don't need Kane.
No, I think he wasn't like, oh my God, it looks really good, like, must get him in my team. I think it was more that he showed glimpses of Kane that we know at points, where you think, actually, he looks as if he's starting to kind of get back in the groove of things again, and could easily do Kane things where he doesn't look that great this game, could still score, 2 goals in the nets, basically. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Werner just because I really like the guy in Bundesliga, and I'm so excited to see how he's going to do. A second I saw that he was 9.5. That was it. Boom. In my team. Happy days. Let's see how this is going to go. So, yeah.
Kurt?
Werner as well.
I'm going to have to go Werner because I'd be lying if I said Kane. I was tempted just because you both said Werner. But we have Varajasaur. Who do you think is most likely to play, Walcott or Iwobi?
Well, Walcott has got bags of potential.
He is that up-and-coming youngster along with Lingard, isn't he?
You just never know when they're going to set the world alight and finally get their career underway. Walcott, you'd assume, but could be wrong.
I would almost say this isn't a question you need to be asking yourself.
Why are you considering Iwobi and Walcott? What's gone wrong in your FPL career to the point where you're considering, what do I get? Iwobi or Walcott?
I don't mean that in any derogatory sense. If I got to that point, I'd be either looking for someone cheaper, or I don't think I'd consider.
I'll be giving up FPL.
If I wanted an Everton player, it would not be either of them, so I'm not really bothered. But I would like to think Iwobi, just because he's got the potential to turn into something. But I don't care, really.
Yeah. Yes. I kind of have to agree with the lads here. I don't think you should really be looking at either of them.
Me and Brett were a bit harsh, and then Nim actually agreed.
Whoa!
You just call him Brett.
Oh, did I?
Whoa!
Didn't even correct myself either.
Whoa.
He does all of this for the stream, and I still get his name wrong.
I have to agree with both Kurt and Jay.
Is it Kurt? Is it not Brett?
I mean, Brett has a lot of subscribers, buddy. I mean, I'd take it.
Yeah, I turn up. Brett doesn't.
It's the drink talking. Yes.
Too right.
So
What's the plot
I
now?
think maybe don't be looking at them as FPL assets.
You didn't need to do that shot, did you?
Oh, that's because you called me Brett.
I feel bad now.
Oh, it's not your fault. Cool. Come on, next one.
We have, should I go Havertz or Son from Nishan?
Oh, kind of my dilemma at the minute.
Go Werner up front, then you can go Son.
Gut pick is Sunny for me. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm thinking season
I
long,
like them both.
I actually like the idea of Havertz more than I like Son, just because it annoys me when I see Son playing that far out wide left.
Mm.
If Kane's injured, I'd say Son every single game week, but he's not. So I think I'd have to go Havertz. We have FPL Alex the Kid. Who's more nailed out of Saka or Nketiah?
So surely Saka.
I'd imagine Saka.
Taking it out of the quickfire, I seriously don't know what the fuss is with Nketiah.
He rings my nonna up all the time when he scores goals. That's what it's about. That's who he's ringing. He's ringing my nana. It's like Nim's nan. I did it again. Scored a goal for you. That's what all the fuss
News
is about.
just in. Eddie Nketiah constantly rings FPL Queen's nan.
I think they will both be nailed initially, and then we might see some rotation, is what I think.
Well, I think me and Kurt both were Saka, weren't we? I think, for now. We've got Alex the Kid also asking Pulisic or Kai Havertz.
Pulisic.
Oh, just because of the injury, Havertz, but I love Pulisic. Towards the end of last season, he was so good. So maybe season long, it's going to be difficult, but probably Pulisic season long.
Oh, God damn it.
I'd say Pulisic as well, just for now, if I had to go with one or the other. But I'm definitely excited about. It's going to be Kai Havertz or Pulisic. Definitely one of those two. I think Ziyech is going to be the one we can ignore and watch Ziyech be absolutely amazing now. And then the final one I've got noted, and then I'll have a quick look in the chat. We've got Justin or Walker Peters.
Have we frozen again?
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it.
Okay.
Please have my face not look absolutely ridiculous. I look a bit pleased, but not as bad as the last one.
Continue on though, it'll be fine.
But yeah, Justin or Walker Peters.
Walker Peters.
Long term, definitely Walker Peters.
Yeah, I was going to say long term Walker Peters. For now though, Justin I think is in a stronger team.
Okay, and then just some quick ones from the chat. We've got Ryan or Ramsdale.
Ryan. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like neither. McCarthy.
I thought you were going to say Ramsdale.
Yeah, neither. Just go McCarthy. Yeah.
I'd say Ramsdale if you can afford it.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Brighton are looking at Martinez, then obviously that could cause problems with Ryan. But yeah.
Kurt, answer.
Ryan, because I think Ramsdale's a bit overpriced.
Fair enough. Mane or Salah?
Salah.
Salah. Ings or Martial?
Martial.
I do worry that Shea Adams is going to take more of the goals now, if he has actually started to find his place in that side. I'm betting on him not having actually found form and just hitting a purple patch. And hoping he just has a similar start to the season as last year. But Adams does worry me. Justin or Jamal Lewis?
Lewis. I don't know much about the guy, but just going on a bit of a punt on that one.
I just haven't seen much from Justin attacking wise, to be fair.
Yeah.
And he kind of took the role of a player that was quite an attacking fullback. So I expected more. And I suppose he's disappointed me in that respect. So I'd probably punt on Lewis.
Right. Are we nearly there? Let me head on to the predictions because wow, it is nearly 11 o'clock. It's like wow.
Well, I think I found the actual post in the chat from Jeff. He said Jeff has question ready. So I'm really disappointed we don't have it.
Maybe he was going to give it to us in the chat if he's there.
Well, I literally control F in the chat, Jeff, and I can only find.
What I mean is maybe he's waiting for us to get near the point where we want it and then he'll give it to us.
Oh, we're here.
Well, I haven't seen him in the chat since.
Who keeps asking what's wrong with my camera? What is wrong with my camera?
You
don't
look
see anything wrong.
stunning. It's beyond reason.
That's not wrong.
Oh,
that's right, isn't it?
I
don't know. I was trying to be nice. All right.
And then I was trying to be nicer.
All right, Nim. You look like me. That's what's wrong with your camera.
It's beautiful.
To be honest, knowing you and your camera tricks, it wouldn't surprise me if you had made her look like you.
I can only control my camera, not everyone else's. That'd be a massive invasion of privacy. Jeez.
Cool. Okay, so shall we do predictions? Kurt, you'll run this bit, buddy.
Right. Oh.
Here he is. He's back.
God, I was sitting down for so long. I got in a nice little sort of hole.
Slump.
And slump, and I had to dig myself out. Right. So I'm not going to go through the whole table because that's boring. So what I want, first of all, I want 20th, 19th, 18th. The three teams were relegated in that order. Oh, God.
I thought that was like a soundtrack. Oh, jeez, it's like a game show.
I forgot I had that on.
I thought it was like the aliens were coming. Wow. Okay.
So I'll start with Jay.
Fulham, 20th. I think then Palace, 19th, West Brom, 18th. West Ham, 17th.
So, could you double check that? Because I didn't hear the last one properly. So you just double check the full three just so I've got the right ones.
Yeah, so it was Fulham 20th, Palace 19th, and then West Brom 18th.
Miss Nimfria.
Oh yeah, and Brett, if you're in the chat, we want yours as well, buddy. So
don't you start slacking off again? Done that too much tonight.
West Brom 20th.
Oh.
Fulham 19th.
Not just a half ham, it's a full ham.
And I am going to go with West Ham 18th.
West Ham.
I was very close to putting West Ham in the bottom three.
Well, I did this earlier on my stream, and the three I went with, and I'm pretty stuck with. Palace 20th. Wow. Would you believe it? I've put Palace last. I know. West Brom are the only team to feature in all three of our relegation things. All three in different positions. J&O 18th, me 19th, Nim 20th.
Well, Jay said West Brom, not West Ham.
I said West Brom.
He said West Brom.
Oh, did he? I thought he said West Ham.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we've all got West Brom in different places. And in the 18th, I've got Brighton.
Oh, nice. Not nice. You know what I mean?
I was going to say. I think Jules will be having a
Jules
word with you.
is going to, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
nice. What do you mean, nice?
Quickly text her. Sorry, Jules. No, that's not happening. That's not very nice.
I don't know. They've got Ben White. They've got Lana now. Mapao was scoring, or Mapay, or however you say his name.
Moped.
Neil. Just stick with Neil.
Just
it's
Neil.
easier.
Just Neil.
In terms of the next one, I'll go to the top 4. So I'll go one position each. So I'll start again with Jay, 4th in the Premier League.
Man U.
Nim?
The same. Man United.
I went with Chelsea. 3rd then, Jay.
Chelsea.
Chelsea? No, got to punch my mic. Whoops. You deserved it. Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Miss Nimfria. The Queen.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Ooh, bit of a controversial thing. And Jay. Oh no, I've just it's me, isn't it? Brilliant.
There you go. You've been named wrongly twice, but not only by Jay, yourself as well.
Look, when you're that fantastic, you forget what your name is. That's what my role is. I put Spurs. I think Spurs have got the potential to really rise up. They're plagued of injuries last season, so who knows? Jay, 2nd.
Liverpool.
I can put a decent bet on who you're going to put as top then. Nim.
Arsenal. No, not a chance.
God, you should be on
Chelsea.
stage.
Chelsea.
I went with Man City. So that you can guess where I'm going at the top. Jay, your top spot.
West Ham. No. No. Man City.
Miss Nimfria.
The same. Man City. With Aguero golden boot.
And if I put Man City 2nd, you can guess where I'm going with 1st, surely?
Liverpool?
No, Man United. No, I'm genuinely being serious.
Fair enough.
I genuinely think, because the only reason I say it is because when I look at, if I'm going to wildcard game week 1, I'm going to bring players in game week 2. The first 3 I put in, Rashford, Bruno, Martial. Now, if they're the 3, I'm thinking, surely they've got to be up there then. You don't put 3 there that are going to be battling 6th for Europa League, are you? They're battling up the top. And I think they've got potential to hit teams on the counter and outscore teams, a bit like Leicester, mix of Liverpool. So, there you go. I'll just do 2 more.
I can't argue with United being around there.
Yeah.
I don't think Liverpool will drop off that much. I agree they'll drop off.
Well, in terms of, I would do 5 and 6. Personally, my 6th is Arsenal, my 5th is Liverpool from earlier. But we're going to do 2 more: underachieving team and overachieving team.
Brett's coming back to us now in a second. He'll be in the chat in a minute. So.
Excellent. So I'll start with you then, Jay. Underachieving team for this season? Can be anyone, just underachieving in terms of what you think they should be aiming towards.
Sheffield United.
That's not that's a choice that I think a lot of people have suggested this season. Nim?
What was it? Sorry, I was just...
An underachieving team this season.
Underachieving team.
So it could be a team that you mentioned before. Maybe you think West Ham should be doing better, but they're going to get relegated. Maybe Liverpool being 3rd is underachieving. Could be anything, really.
Just looking down the list. Wolves.
They're safe, sort of riskish free bets, aren't they? Sheffield United and Wolves, because they've potentially overachieved for the last 2 seasons. So if they're going to underachieve, it would be now. In terms of me, I would say probably Burnley, because I think they're going to be battling relegation most of this season, just purely because they're a bit cash strapped. You think that, the start of the window, West Ham bid for Tarkowski, right? We need like 60 million, lads, and then you can go. Otherwise, if you don't bid 60 million, you're not going to leave. And all of a sudden, getting towards the end of the transfer window, you know what? Don't mention it, but if you bid 35 million, we'll let him go. There's worrying signs if a club has removed their asking price. 25 million was half of the asking price of a player that has been instrumental to their success. That for me worries me about Burnley. So I think they're going to sell play like that, not be able to replace them, and that'll be a. They won't go down, but it'll be struggling.
Brett said City, Liverpool, United. It was top 4, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said top 3.
City, Liverpool. Top 4, the bottom 3, and underachieving and overachieving. So in terms of overachieving, before I was waiting for Brett, Jay, an overachieving team this season?
Ooh. Southampton. I wanted to say Leeds, but my opinion of where Leeds will finish, I don't see as over or underachieving.
You said Chelsea 4th.
Chelsea 4th, okay. Nim?
I think my overachieving would be... I mean, can I say Chelsea? Because obviously they did quite badly season gone last, and I think they might overachieve.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can mention whoever you want. It doesn't have to be teams that we haven't mentioned yet. So if you think Chelsea finishing second is going to be overachieving, then by all means go for it.
Yeah, I think so. Given where they have been the last couple of seasons, I'll go Chelsea.
That's fair enough. In terms of overachieving, the obvious pick for me, obviously, putting Man United finishing top, win the league with Man United. But I think what people consider of them, I think Aston Villa, personally finishing 15th in my bets, could be overachieving, just purely because I think everyone thinks they're going down. Granted, us don't think we're going down, but whenever I look online, they think Villa are going down. They had so many injuries last season. Like even in my stream earlier, most of the people were putting them to go down. I've looked online, people putting them to go down, so it'd be Villa. Or, you know what, actually, I'm going to just stick with my guns. Go Man United. Go Man United, and that's simple.
Long way around.
So I've got Brett.
Did we get Brett's bottom 3? And
yeah, I've got Brett 20th, Fulham, West Brom. And another person that's put both of the Wests to go down. It's been quite a while actually since we had a West in the or had no Wests in the division. And in terms of just need one more thing from Brett, but we can do it off the stream anyway. But overachieving and underachieving. But in terms of ending off the stream, I'm just going to waffle for 5 minutes. So I'll offer it up to you two if you want to do anything.
Yeah, I'll leave it to Jay to wrap up because he does a good wrap up. So, but yes, thank you everyone who's been watching.
There's still 65 people watching. Christ.
Today has been absolutely amazing across all of our social medias and our channels.
4 more likes and Kurt has to do another shot.
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah, yes. 4 more likes. I'll do another shot to end the stream. I'll do a shot and I'll do my ending monologue. Carry on, Nim. Sorry.
That's all right, buddy. It's all good. No, I was just saying, we've been just so overwhelmed with the community support the last, week or so. We couldn't do all this without you guys, and we're extremely grateful. And yeah, so I'll give you to Jay to do the what is it called, Jay?
The boring YouTube bits before we have Kurt's monologue.
I did have a good word for it there, and it just went.
Well, no, I watched the Black Box on YouTube recently, and they hated doing the whole subscribe like.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not a YouTuber if you don't ask for it. Yeah. So, if you have enjoyed the stream, you can show us how much you've enjoyed it by hitting that like button, making Kurt do another shot, hitting subscribe so you know when our next live stream is, and hitting that notification bell because you'll get notified when the live stream is going live, and you can come join us right at the beginning and not miss getting your question answered, because I see some questions being asked now. Unfortunately, we have to stop at some point. We can't go on all night. I've got work tomorrow.
And I haven't chosen
and a team to pick. Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly. we need to pick our sides at some point. We can't make content all the time.
If you want questions to be answered, I may be live on Instagram tomorrow. Or answering questions on Instagram. Who knows? I don't know how it works, but maybe.
Oh, maybe. Brett's put his picks in the chat.
I've got them.
Cool, you've got them. Cool.
So, do everything I just said, because it helps us. It really does. And I will pass over to Kurt for his ending monologue, because I'm expecting something a bit epic.
Well, it's been insane tonight. I would say thank you all for watching.
Kurt's
You
final
have been
thoughts.
an audience. That's about all I can say. Nothing more, nothing less. It's been really enjoyable. And as much as people will complain or moan or maybe be worried or excited, upset maybe for all FPL, it's good to be back. As much as I'd love to have a bit of a piss about and a bit of a joke, it's really good to be back with FPL. As it's been a long time since even the post restart or post COVID-19, it just felt like a bit of an extension, like a bit like you get a game and it's just an expansion pack to a game you don't really want to play, but you play for it anyway because you like the game. That's what it felt like. So for it to actually be like this as a new game now, there's a whole new save you can start. And it gets me exciting. It gets me really, really looking forward to the season. We're looking at the time now. We're now less than 12 hours away until the deadline, and I think it's a wonderful feeling. Worrying about your team, getting content out, being worried, talking to people. It's the thrill of FPL that brings people together and has led to loads of people being here tonight just wanting our advice. We're no experts, but we enjoy giving the best advice we can give, and that's all I can say. It's been hard to try and get through this actually without trying to mention a joke or go off topic, but I feel like I've done all right. So
that was pretty good for you, mate.
Yeah, pretty good for me. Pretty
I
good
didn't
for
want
me.
to overhype you.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, cheers all for watching. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe, because if you get more, we get more likes on videos, we get more comments and more subscribes during
You're up
videos.
to 70
We know
now, Kurt.
what. I'm trying to
That's too
talk
off,
so
isn't
I can
Sorry.
keep people liking and subscribing. I want to do the extra shot. But,
How many more do you need?
I need to get up to
2.
72.
Oh.
They've got 4 dislikes, so clearly people aren't approved of my shenanigans. But yeah, no, the
Still
more likes we get on
recommend
different
people as
streams, different videos, different topics, different ideas, the more we know what to give to you. So if you like something, like the video, then you know you're going to get more of that. If you don't like it, don't like the video, then it may not come back again. So that's how likes work. It's not begging, it's not asking for anything. It's just literally just so you can get the best content available for you. With that being said, though, cheers all for watching. Sorry for the technical issues. I hope they didn't make anything too bad, but in future, hopefully.
You did a great job, Kurt.
Yeah.
You did a great job. Buddy.
It's
Well
it's
Great.
tough, and especially when you've got an issue and you don't know what is actually causing it. I looked at the computer thinking,
That's why
I don't know
Jay's
what's, I
concentration
don't know
face
what's
is
doing it.
famous. That is why Jay's
I've
concentration
gone
just
through
literally
face
say
everything
is
thinking,
famous.
what do I do
You literally
then?
see it happen and you're like, but why? Why? You've been fine for 40 minutes. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't do this to me now.
Exactly.
So,
No, don't do it.
No. But no, cheers all for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I will see you all, potentially, in the next game week.
Yes, and the Wildcats will be back next week.
And we'll
luck.
force Brett. Anyway, the intro's playing. Or the